Last week, Monday Okaeben, the senator representing Edo Central in the National Assembly, was declared winner of the primary election organized by the All Progressives Congress ahead of the September 21 governorship election in the state. According to Governor Bassi Otu of Cross River State and the chairman of APC's Supplementary Election Committee, Senator Otu scored 12,433 votes to defeat 11 other aspirants in the contest. We are now being joined from Benin, the Edo State capital, by Honorable Chris Okaeben, a former Edo State Commissioner of Youth and Sports and two-term member of the State House of Assembly. Our guest is also Secretary of Edo Local Government Council and one-time Director, Edo State Petroleum Monitoring Committee. Good morning and welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Abby. Good morning, my families at this Arise studio. And good morning to Nigerians.
Good morning, sir. It's not Abby, it's Ade, so I'm from your Edo local government area. It's nice to have you on the show this morning. Yes.
My lovely sister, it's my pleasure.
Nice to see you this morning. Now, the first thing top of mind is we have to talk about what happened in Abuja with Dennis Idahosa apparently storming the APC National Committee there, asking for justice. Do you believe that the APC primaries have been concluded? Do you believe that he has any claim when it comes to the nomination, when it comes to the gubernatorial race in September? Do you imagine that the APC is going to come together before elections and get their act together to fight the PDP and the LP in Edo State?
Yeah, thank you very much. For me, I believe it was a family contest, and one thing that has been defined is the party supremacy. In any organization, any institution, there is a leadership. In this instance, in the case of the APC, the leadership was quite clear on what had happened. What had happened in Edo State, and which I must congratulate every Edo person for, is that there have been agitations over the time of segregation and probably undermining the other senatorial district, which is Edo Central. In fairness to them, Okaeben left as governor of Edo State, handed over to my leader and our father, Comrade Adams Aliyu Shomole, who afterwards handed over to Godwin Obaseki, who's from Edo South, precisely my local government. And it was only fair that our Esan brothers are considered, at least in the spirit of fairness, equity, and justice, that they produce a governor. And in the wisdom of the party and the leadership of our party, the All Progressive Congress, thought it wise, but it is only fair that the Esan people, the Edo Central people, also be carried along in the leadership structure of the state, which of course is not too much to ask for. That hadn't happened. A lot of people were wondering what happened that our leader, very respected son of the soil, two of them precisely, in the person of Pastor Sergei Zeyamu and Chief Lucky Maswen, withdrawing from the race. It's not because they were cowards. It's not because they do not have the capacity to win any election. But what happened is because they are team players. They understand the body language of the party, that the party had said it is fair that you also let the central also have a fair share of the governance structure of the state. And that is what happened. And going to your question, like you have said, all aspirants who contested that election were eminently qualified. Just as my humble self, Honorable Chris Okaeben, was eminently also qualified to be a governor, should I have wished to throw my weight, myself into the ring. But it is only fair that, like we have said, let's consider our Esan brothers, which we did. And so, as at the time leadership reached out to us, the party, in this case, the State Working Committee, was in communication with the National Working Committee and pleading consistently that the only thing that can unite us is for all of us to come together in synergy and ensure that our Esan brothers also have a fair share, so that rotation would have been established. And that was what had happened in the primaries. Yes, some people may give different theories to what may have transpired, but that is no longer a matter for debate anymore. The primaries have held, it is passed, a winner has emerged. We must now turn around now to heal wounds. We must now come around to heal wounds. Yes, my brother has a right to protest. It is his right. You can't take away from him. Dennis Idahosa is a very strong politician. You cannot also wish away. He's a 2-time serving member of the House of Representatives. He has the right to air his grievances. But I think the party do owe Edo people the duty right now to speaking about the National Working Committee. It was a matter of urgency, quickly set up a reconciliation committee to bring both our leader, Adams Aliyu Oshomole, Pastor Osage Ezeyamu, and some, maybe probably a leader from Edo Central to come, or the candidate now, to come to the table so that we can calm nerves and heal the wounds. Yeah, bruises had happened. You don't want to even think, and this is what happened in Edo in these primaries. This primaries was like an election of APC PDP. The kind of resources that went into it, the time, the energy, the forces that came out. When I mean, I must give kudos to our party leadership. It goes to show that APC is still a party, still very strong and formidable in Edo State.
Thank you for that, for kicking off the conversation. But, following the initial confusion trailing last Saturday's governorship primaries of the APC in your state, after producing 3 separate candidates initially, I'd like to know, following what you said, the measures that are being taken to reconcile this aggrieved factions following these elections, and how successful is the party has the party been rather in fostering this unity and cohesion among its members, because it looked like a house without order as of when that announcement was made. In every contest is what you expect. Yes, like I said, and I've always postulated, even in several forums, I was privileged to speak since the winner was declared 3 days ago, or is it 2 days ago now? Because just to make some clarifications, last Saturday, produced 3 different candidates: Clem Agba, Senator Monday Okpebholo, and Dennis Idahosa. But you could see in the wisdom of our party leadership and the National Working Committee, that could have stood the test of time, because there can only be one man in the ship, and on the steering at the time. And to suggest that we're going to parade 3 candidates up until now would have clearly showed that APC wasn't going to have a candidate. Now, what had happened, the drama behind what happened, is our very respected leader, the governor of Imo State, very, very respected leader that we adore so much, came into Edo. He was chairman of that primary election for Edo. Now, the venue for that primaries was Lushville Hotel, where you had all the officers expected to conduct that election all assembled and waiting for the arrival of the governor. But our leader, the governor, was misled. I don't know by what forces, I don't know by which elements within our party, that the venue for collation was Protea. It was not a creation, it was not a making of the governor. That the venue for collation was Protea. And the governor, of course, headed to Protea. Unknown to him that the venue that was sent to INEC, that was sent to the DSS, and sent to the police authorities was Lushville Hotel. And that's where everybody was. And because of expediency of time, he arrived and merely went to the business of the day and declared a winner. And of course, those officials in Lushville started the process awaiting the governor, who was the chairman of the primary committee, to come and just do the final pronouncement of declaring who the winner was. While the process was ongoing, a declaration was also going on here. And of course, they couldn't stop the process. They continued and also declared Senator Monday Okpebholo as the winner. In the eyes of the law, you and everyone I consulted through so many senior advocates of Nigeria in this country, and they said in the eyes of the law, the authentic candidate arising from that Saturday's election was Senator Monday Okpebholo, who was legally empowered by the Electoral Act to be the one to return whoever becomes a candidate. Our party, in their wisdom, have realized we cannot go to an election under litigation. We must go and get it right.
And I was surprised that our party was able to deploy resources, manpower to come and conduct that primaries again, which was done on Thursday. And that primaries was a most heated primaries. The amount of youth that turned out, the amount of supporters that besieged the road of the venue of the coalition, you do not want to even imagine. And the security apparatus that were on ground. So it has to be done right. One, the venue which was prescribed for that primaries must be the venue where the results must be declared, which was done by the governor of Cross River State. The venue which was prescribed by the party to the DSS and INEC is where the returning officers must go and return their results from each of the LGAs, which was done. All the processes started from the beginning and it ended on a footnote where a candidate emerged. Therefore, having done that, like I said, they were freed names and people must take their petitions to the appropriate authority, which Dennis is already, exercising. It is that is his fundamental human right, to exercise his grievances. And he's gone to the party secretariat. He did not take to the streets in violence to let the party secretariat know that he's not comfortable with the outcome of these primaries. The party is going to look at his petitions, and after looking at his petitions, there are going to be meetings, clandestine meetings, nocturnal meetings, as long as we arrive at a point where the House will remain stronger and united. Do not forget, the symbol of our party is the broom.
Yeah.
And the unity of the broom is what makes the House clean.
Okay.
And in this instance, and in this case, we are hoping that that broom will actually, meet his desired needs to ensure that we clean up Edo State in the forthcoming governorship election in the state. I am appealing.
All right, Honorable Okaeben.
And I repeat this again.
Yeah.
Yes, go.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you very quickly because we are struggling with time. I know that you still make your appeal, but very quickly.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. But very quickly, if the candidacy of Senator Monday Okpebholo, if it stands, what are his chances against Olumide Akpata of the Labour Party and what's his name again? Ighodalo of the PDP. Given that PDP is in power in Edo, what will APC be campaigning on? At the federal, where APC is ruling, you know what the whole country is saying. On what plank will your candidate campaign on? Let's assume that you're able to get your act together and everybody accused behind your candidate.
Steve, thank you so much. You see, like I said, the three candidates of the three major political parties today are very strong sons of this soil. Asun Ighodalo is a very seasoned banker and a lawyer, and Monday Okpebholo is a very, very strong businessman that has several business interests within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. Olumide Akpata, of course, is, like we always call him, is a homeboy. We are hoping that he's able to mobilize the people to give him the necessary support. But you see, the politics of Edo is not rocket science, and it's not also theory, it's practical. Yes, you talk about considering what's happening in the country today. What's happening in the country today is not only restricted to Nigeria, neither is only restricted to Africa. It's a global crisis all over the world. Edo is not the one responsible for the war between Ukraine and Russia. Edo is not the one also responsible for the war between Israel and Gaza. There's cost comes with every war that happens, and of course, because the world is global, you must expect what is happening today. But that be the case, there is a man in the helm of affairs now, in the person of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who I must give all the kudos. With what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu meant on ground, he could have just told Nigerians, you know what? From what I've seen, gentlemen, Nigeria, we may have to take whatever we find, we'll survive with. I can't inherit what I have met. But the man knew what he wanted. He was courageous and bold enough to say he must bring out this country out of the trenches the enemies of this country has thrown it into. We must not heap the problem of this country in the head of the president who have just assumed office less than 2 years in office. I believe Nigeria is still growing. Nigeria will not fall. The wishes of the enemies of this country is that this country must not be the giant of Africa anymore. Our God is saying no. because I am very confident that this country will pick up again. Right now, it's like an engine that the gaskets got burnt. So we are going to buy a new engine, buy a new crankshaft, and we'll start the engine again, and it will pick up again. And the president is already doing that. I give all the kudos to him.